Mr. Binks, you know how you love going to new places and staying in different hotels. Well, that's why we're jumping on Zoom now to talk to the founder of Pets Pyjamas, which is probably the only travel agent dedicated to you and your dog. I'm Anna Webb. Welcome to A Dog's Life. Denise Elphick, I'm so delighted that you're joining us on A Dog's Life.
Hello.
So, Denise, explain a bit about you and your connection with Pets Pyjamas.
Well, Pets Pyjamas started about 12 years ago, and we started actually because we love dogs so much. We just decided to start a lifestyle business. But that kind of morphed into a travel company because so many people would ask us, where should we go with our dog on a holiday? Where is dog friendly enough? Can we take one or two dogs? Or should we And I just we thought, this is what is needed, a dog friendly travel company where also so we created this pet concierge side of it as well, which is free to use, but just sort of so people could ring up and they could say, "Oh, look, I've got 3 Labradors and I want to take them to somewhere on the coast. Where should I go?" And we could answer, we could tell them. So we started the travel. We signed up all these hotels, cottages, pubs with rooms, lodges, and so we could make a really big offering of different sort of properties to suit different occasions, different dogs. And it's just grown from there, really.
It's absolutely splendid. And I do agree that it is something that the market needs, because in this decade, I guess, the past decade, dog friendly has seriously volumed, hasn't it, Denise?
Oh, definitely. And I think that hotels are making a real effort now to, I think, sort of egged on by people like us to be really dog friendly. Offering a dog a letter from the resident dog, treats in the room, and just I think it's so important. You need to feel the dog. You need to feel your dog's welcome right from the get-go. When you arrive at a hotel, you need to feel at reception that they really are. And quite often, some of our hotels, you'll have people coming out of reception to pet your dog when you arrive, which I think is fantastic and sets the tone for the stay. That's really what you want, this feeling of that they are as welcome as you are.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. And that can make or break it, really.
Yeah.
I remember with Molly, my first miniature bull terrier, we went to quite a few places together, but there was always a set amount of rooms that were for dog owners and their dogs, normally at the back.
Oh,
They
exactly.
maybe weren't the most glamorous ones, and of course when they were full, that was it, so, oh no, sorry, we're full, all the dog friendly rooms are booked. But this has now changed as well, hasn't it, Denise?
Oh, yes. I mean, people at the hotels have got more dog-friendly rooms, or all of them are dog-friendly, and that happens quite a lot. And when you take your dog away with you, you get chatting to other people. It's so much fun. I mean, on one of our trips, we went to Palais Hall in Wales, and over drinks, we met this couple. I think they had a Jack Russell, and we arranged a play date for them the next morning. It was so much fun.
Well, this is it, dogs are icebreakers,
They
and
definitely are.
yeah, and so of course you want to take dogs on holiday with you. I mean, staycationing, I suppose because of the pandemic, but even before that, I think the statistic was something crazy that 53% of all dog owners didn't want to go abroad, didn't want to arrange care for their dogs or whatever. They want to staycation, so they can definitely take their dogs with them. So so in a way, dog ownership has really promoted the UK as a great holiday destination.
Yes, I think it has. And I think when you think about it, there are so many all the counties have different things to offer. Um, you've got beaches, countryside. I mean, you know, whether you wanted to go to the Lake District. So whether, I mean, if you think of the fabulous walks and a dog, taking a dog with you sort of encourages you to maybe to go on more walks, longer walks. It's amazing. We took Kiki recently to the Lake District. This is my Norfolk Terrier. She's a 5-year-old Norfolk Terrier, and I couldn't believe my husband chose this really quite difficult walk, I thought. And I thought, am I going to be able to do it? Oh, I don't know. But she had no difficulty. These little legs. I mean, I think it was 2 hours up and no trouble at all. And she just loved it. Little tail wagging and fabulous views at the top. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. You've hit a really good point because otherwise, if you don't go, say you fly to somewhere hot, without your dog, and you just spend the whole time lazing by the pool, which is one option that
nice.
isn't too
Yeah.
bad. Let's face it, I definitely could yearn for that right at the moment, but it is better to stay active and challenge yourself a little bit, push your boundaries. And that sounds great. I mean, Kiki sounds a real character. I'm very fond of Norfolk Terriers.
Oh, and she's honestly, she's got so much personality. She's so fun. She picks up when we're going to go away somewhere. And we get her bag out with all her toys and all her food and everything. And she just gets so ecstatically excited. And of course, as soon as you arrive at the hotel, the faces at the window and um, and so that's when it's so nice when, as I was saying before, when you get a fabulous reception when you get there, and it definitely is so important for hotels, and just they seem to be more and more keen to add extra things that they give to dogs. And we do Pets Pyjamas. We do a lot of packages which go down so well, which include lots of doggy extras. And the hotels, we talk to the hotels about what they might include, and they get quite inventive themselves. And instead of just walks, they'll give you a whole list of dog walks now. And I think that's where it's all, as you said, it's all changed and become so much more dog friendly.
Yes, maybe this has been boosted a bit by the booming economy, Denise, called the Hound Pound.
The Hound Pound,
The
definitely.
Hound Pound. But why not? And but you do, I mean, what I love about Pets Pajamas is that you really do get the feeling of what is indeed a fact, which is all of the places on your website have been tried and tested,
Oh yeah.
so it's a curated ensemble of different places to go, that's really, you can be sure that your dog also, of course, can travel totally free. So there's no surcharges for dogs either.
No, we think that the dogs are such an important part of the family that there shouldn't be an extra charge for them. And quite often hotels say, oh well, we prefer it's almost like dogs cause less damage than children. Or no, I mean it just they really, I mean, if you take a dog on holiday, you obviously have to make sure it's well behaved. But on the whole, I think, as I said, there's this real sense of welcome and what extra they can do.
Yes, and of course, dogs love going to different places. And dogs love being with their owners. That's the key thing. That's that bond that you build.
Right, they
And
just want to be with you, don't they?
they do, absolutely. But of course, for their mental enrichment, going to different places, seeing the different sights, smelling the different smells, there's a big difference between the Norfolk coast odor wise and London, for the dogs. So that's also interesting for them. So it's about enrichment, really.
Yes, and it's sort of, yes, as you say, different sights and smells. Oh, I think you said Norfolk's one of your favorite places.
I do love Norfolk. I've got such fond memories of going there with Molly, actually, and doing Hokum Beach, which is just
I love
unbelievable. I love it.
Hokum Beach because it's got that all that sand and then the wooded background as well.
Yeah,
It's
yes, that's
gorgeous.
it. So you have this exploration getting down there. And I think it was such a surprise for Molly. I mean, I'm sure she could smell the sea, because obviously dogs can smell everything. But, we went through the little forest and then
That's it.
you've got that open space and the wind and seeing
Oh,
the dogs run, it was just
it,
absolutely
I know.
so exhilarating.
It's just miles and miles of sand. It's just amazing, isn't it? And
Really is.
yes, and where else do you have other places that you've been that you like to go for with your dogs?
Brighton's always quite a nice day out to go, and there's lots of variety. It's a bit like London. It's London by the sea, isn't it? But Wales is somewhere that I've been with the dogs, which of course is very different to Norfolk. And that's again, you're right when you said, Denise, this country has so much to offer, really. You've got the Snowdonia Peaks,
Oh, yeah.
and the Norfolk Broads. Nothing could be more different. So yeah, I know. I mean, I do tend to stay in London probably quite a bit. We've done a few night stays as part of sort of collaborations in different hotels in London. But of course, just as if London is a barometer, then some very big hotel chains are now really dog welcoming, and cats. And that was something I was going to ask Denise. I mean, do you ever have any customers ringing up saying, can I take my Maine Coon with me?
I think we have in the past. We've even had a customer who's asked if they can take their horse with them.
No.
I think
Oh,
we might, I think we actually sorted them out. I think we did find somewhere, but on the whole, not. I mean, really, it's
yeah,
about dogs. So
it is about dogs.
yes, exactly. And I just think it makes your holiday so much more fun when the dog comes too. Um, and I don't know, I even think, as you said, some of the holidays I've had abroad, if I think of the ones I've really enjoyed, they're quite often the ones that where Kiki has come along too. And I don't know, there's just more going on. It just creates so much fun.
Exactly. I think it's partly, I think that your routine isn't totally turned upside down, because if you're so used to having your dog in your life and then you've got a
Right.
2 week holiday without your dog, you sort of feel a bit like you've
Yes.
lost an arm or
No,
something.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. And of course, there are the European stays that you offer as well.
Yes, I mean, you can go on the Eurotunnel to France. Obviously, you can't fly directly with your dog um, from here, but no. I mean, we've been on a couple of road trips. We took our last two dogs who are also Norfolk Terriers to France and Italy. We did a tour of Western Europe and also a tour of Eastern Europe. And again, they enhanced our trip. I mean, they just made it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And again, of course, you get to meet more people. People will talk to you about your dogs. So I really think you're going to meet more of the local people and get into conversations, get a feel for the place. And of course, the way people respond to your dogs does give you a good, view, really, doesn't it? Of
Oh,
the
definitely.
yeah, and that can make or break it, really.
Yes, I
Totally.
mean, we recently we went on another trip. I went with my daughter with her dog. She's got a rescue dog called Lulu, and we started talking to this, and she has a shoe brand, and we started talking to this lovely couple over drinks. They invited, and I think it was all to do with. I don't think we would have ever had drinks with them if we hadn't got the dogs with us. And then the next day, the lady had bought a pair of Camilla's shoes. It was just so nice, and they were so friendly. And they said, "Please come and see us." And so as you said before, dogs are icebreakers, and they really help you. I mean, obviously, you don't always want to be chatting to people, but I must say, I think it's quite nice.
Yes, absolutely. And then you don't have to worry either, So when you leave your dog, even if your dog sitter or wherever you've, left your dog is really reliable and you've used them before, there's always that worry in the back of your head that
Right.
something awful might happen and you're far
Exactly.
away, and you just don't need that extra worry, I think.
And I was going to say, obviously sometimes you take your, in the evening, you take your dog with you. You can, and some of our hotels, you can eat with your dog, even some of the very smartest ones. But we found that if we leave Kiki in the room, she's always so well behaved because she's so tired from all the walks that she's done in the day that because sometimes you've spent the whole day with your dog and they are tired and you just need a little break. So sometimes we might have drinks with Kiki downstairs and then we'll take her back up. But she's quite happy to be left. But if you have a dog that doesn't like to be left, so some of our hotels will look after your dog at reception, or they could arrange a dog sitter. But there are so many options now. So if it's in a pub, you probably want to take it with you. But if the hotel's got this absolutely super Michelin star restaurant, you might want to leave the dog in the room. So again, you've got all these options. It's not really stopping you from doing anything.
No, 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 no. To the contrary, I'd say. And it also is, I think, a bit of a motivator for people to train your dog. As you said, Denise, earlier, obviously your dog has to be well behaved. And I think, you need to set sights and have goals really with you and your dog. So if your dog has got separation anxiety, let's fix it because it
Yes,
can be fixed so
exactly.
that you can
Because
stay in
you're
a,
you're a dog trainer, so
yes,
you
I
know.
am. And absolutely. And I think that's part of it by pushing boundaries for both you and your dog and having these expectations. I want to take my dog with me. I would love to go to Norfolk or, to Cumbria and be able to leave the dog in the room and then, and know that you've got that flexibility. Certainly actually with all of mine, I can do that. So that's really, really great. But
Yeah.
it's about building memories as well, I think, with your dogs, because I all the trips, all the fun things I've ever done with all of them, that it's brilliant, and I feel like I'm a better owner for having done things with the
Oh
dogs.
yes, because it's all about socializing them,
Yes.
and so it's good for them and it's good for you, I think. And the other thing is, it's quite funny with my other dogs and also with Kiki. She raises her game when she goes to a hotel, particularly if it's a very smart one. She'll just get rather snooty herself. And I always remember once we went to Cliveden in
Oh,
Berkshire.
yes. No, I've stayed in Clifton with Molly,
Have you?
actually. Yes, yes. I loved it because obviously,
That's
all the Profumo affair
yeah.
history and so on. It's certainly one to go to. Yeah, no, we love that. And the walks around there were great,
Oh,
actually.
they were yes, fantastic. And but when we took the two dogs there, and they just were so well behaved and so rather snooty, and sort of went up the stairs in a rather graceful manner. It was really peculiar, really really sweet.
Well, they pick up so much, I mean,
Yes.
the dog's sense of smell, as mentioned, is so acute. So they'll be smelling fine perfumes, they'll be smelling delicious, steaks being prepared in the kitchen over there and lovely flowers over there. So I'll be thinking, wow,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
rather nice. This is very elegant. And, I do believe that some properties have kind of character and charisma oozing. What do they say? Walls have ears. And
Yes.
it's
And
like,
and the dog
yeah,
picks it up. But
yeah.
the other thing I've noticed recently, Anna, is that hotels, so you might get a nice big room with a nice big bed, but now they're offering rather larger, more sort of glamorous beds for the dogs as well. So, so that's what it's in the last two or three hotels I've been to, been absolutely fantastic luxury beds, and I think the dogs appreciate it. So yes, more luxurious things for the dogs and more inventive, toys and as well as just treats.
Mm.
Toys. or
No,
you,
and pet menus also, Denise. I've done a couple of pet menus for a couple of hotels actually, and that's all part of their, concierge service really for your pet. So you're presented with a booklet with menus to choose from for snacks or for your main meal. And yeah, it's as you say, it's very inventive and they are looking at all aspects. And if the dog is happy, then the owner's happy and the owner will
definitely.
want to go back.
Oh, oh, definitely. And I think once you've taken your dog away somewhere for a weekend or something, you always want to take them. And I think we find that people book for, yes, they might book one night and then they'll book their summer holiday and then they'll book a little winter break and with the dog. And it's just sets a sort of gives you that idea and you just know that you're going to have a lovely time.
Absolutely. And you have so much to offer on the website. I mean, there's something for absolutely everybody, isn't there?
Yes. And I think at the moment, I just think lovely idea to go to a pub with a roaring fire, whether you and your dog can sit by the fire with your lovely drink. But also if you're celebrating something, I think it was a couple of years ago, I went to Watley Manor, in January and it was just in the Cotswolds. And it was so gorgeous. And we went to Westonbirt Arboretum as well, which was very nice. And we had a really lovely meal there, and it was just such a gorgeous place. So I'm happy either going to a little cottage, a pub with a roaring fire, or a lovely country house hotel or beach, whatever it is. I'm happy with any of those situations. But it's especially nice, I think, in the winter to
Well,
go somewhere cozy with the dog.
oh yeah, no, definitely. Because well, January and February are quite,
Dreary months, yeah.
they really are a bit, So to cheer yourself up. But also, of course, in the winter, you don't have the worry of the heat. I always say every season has a problem for the dogs. I know winter's muddy paws, but on the whole, I think winter, at least you don't have the heat. Because, if you're out with your dog and you get caught short, it's very hot, you've run out of water, or you get lost, or dogs can overheat so quickly. So I do love a good winter walk. Yeah,
Yes,
I love.
and I a lot of the hotels also have you can wash stations for dogs, dedicated wash stations for dogs for all those for the muddy coat and paws, which is very useful. But I mean they do get very muddy, but it's quite but they seem to enjoy getting muddy as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They love it. That's the thing. And it's a chance as well to just kick back and let your dog be a dog, exploring the undergrowth. And I say it's really enriching for them to work things out. They're planning their journey back to the hotel. They'll be retracing their steps, because they're thinking, right, yeah, we've got to get our internal sat nav because dogs do have a bit of a sat nav inside. They have a sense of direction, so
Definitely.
that will be really challenging them. And I'm one of my big things with training and everything is to enrich, is to push boundaries, is to prevent doggy dementia coming into the mix. So that
Yes.
so different environments are a source of that. It's so simple. But also you also cater for people that haven't got a car and that might want to get from A to B by train. That's been something that you've been conscious of, I think.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because I mean, not everybody has cars, and sometimes it's more pleasant to go on a trip by train with the dog anyway. And when we've taken Kiki on the train with us, she always seems to enjoy it, and she just tucks herself under the seat. But if she does, I mean, I find people pet her, and she has a lovely time anyway. And that actually in a way, I wonder if she actually prefers going by train sometimes, because it's a lot less boring in a way for her rather than just being in the back of the car, just because she sort of can engage with people on the trip. So different people. And as you say, a lot of the properties are very close to stations. And if you don't want to go too far, you could go somewhere like Taplow House in Buckinghamshire. And I think that's not, I mean, it's not very far to drive, but it's also not far to go on the train and easy to go on the train. So, yes, I think we even have a section in the website of hotels that are close to train
Yeah, no,
stations.
I agree. It's less, well, because driving can be stressful. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
dogs can smell your stress and internalize it. And there was this study done by the University of Belfast, Denise, that actually computed that dogs actually on smelling their owners' cortisol levels, they
Really?
become,
Oh,
yes, yeah, no, absolutely, they can do it. I mean, many years ago, when I was working with medical detection dogs, one of the first ever case studies was about cortisol. It was for Addison's disease in the owner, and the dog would alert when the cortisol levels were going too high in her body
yeah.
and rush and go and get her medical bag so she could take medication and be okay. And then years later, the University of Belfast took that case study and took it further. Only last year, it's a very new one actually, and they did postulate that dogs become pessimistic after smelling cortisol.
Oh,
So
oh.
it does impact on dogs, and there's more and more research going on. So it's interesting, so if you're less stressed on a train because you're not driving, you're not having to listen to your sat nav, you're not in a traffic jam going, oh, hurry
Oh.
up, it is going to be better for your dog. So it's interesting.
Oh, yes, because I have definitely noticed that I'm quite surprised with the way she's so quiet and so, always falls asleep, even on a very long journey. So it's that must be it. That just, that you feel that you're relaxed and you think, oh gosh, I don't have to worry about the journey. Oh, lovely. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I would like to, the next thing I'd like to do would be to go to Scotland on an overnight trip with her, which because they do you can take your dog um, overnight on the sleeper, um, and then wake up the next morning and be in Scotland. I think that would be very nice. And I've actually been to Scotland in the winter before, and oh, it's been really lovely, beautiful.
Well, I love Edinburgh, and you've got
Yes.
Greyfriars Bobby there,
Oh, yes.
the little statue. When I went there, it was a few years ago. I've been to Edinburgh a few times, but it is very dog friendly again up there, of course. And there's something about it because of Greyfriars Bobby. I was just disappointed that the statue, it wasn't as big as I wanted it to
Oh,
be.
I know
And
we've seen that. We've been there as well. And no, it is quite small, isn't it? Yes.
yeah, disappointing, but such a lovely story, and really based on truth as well, and historical references, about the loyal dog that wouldn't leave his master's grave, so an appropriate place to visit with your dog, I think. But yeah,
Oh,
the sleeper train, absolutely love that idea. I mean, the only time I've done a sleeper train, it was a bit different. It was from, well, in England, and that, no, actually, well, we got on the train in Paris, and it was a sleeper train to the south of France. Oh, and that was just amazing. I absolutely loved it because you woke
oh,
up and there it was, and the amazing Côte d'Azur. So
oh,
that,
that sounds fabulous. Uh,
yes, I mean, I guess we could do that with a dog. I mean, because
yes.
how are trains in France for dogs? Are there rules on it? Because I know, what seems really frustrating for every single dog owner is that, of course, the main Eurostar still is not taking dogs
I know, it's
despite
such
so
a
much
shame.
campaigning.
We did actually. Once we did, I think we did a little demonstration, but we didn't get anywhere. But I think once you're actually in France, you can. I've only taken the dogs to France in the car, but I mean, it seems like most of the trains in France, you can take your dog. And of course, the service stations in France, you can take your dog in, it is a shame that on the service stations in the UK, well, I think there is one in on the M4, but on the whole, obviously, you can't take the dog in. You have to, and if you're on your own with your dog in the car, that can be quite annoying. You don't
Oh
really
gosh.
necessarily, I don't like leaving the dog in the car.
No, Denise, I can tell you. I mean, gosh, because Oh, I've done that loads where I've had to literally do a pit stop to run to the loo.
Yeah.
And on a couple of times, it's been hot weather. So, I mean, I've had to
You
put a
can't
cool
leave
vest on
them.
the dog. No, exactly. Absolutely. And just run and parked as near as I could in as much shade as I could to the actual service station, and then just run, just no distractions, just quick, and then get back and everything's been fine. But on a couple of occasions, honestly, not good for your stress levels,
No.
definitely.
And so I would really like the motorway service stations to be dog friendly. I don't see why not. I mean,
No, I think actually,
make life a lot easier.
I think there should be a campaign on that because
Yeah.
particularly for the hot weather, I mean,
Maybe you and I should start it.
yes, well, let's do it,
Yeah.
and compare to France. I mean, gosh, I mean, France is very, very dog friendly. I mean, it always has
Oh
been.
gosh.
Gosh, I mean, I lived in Paris for a couple of years, lived and worked there, and I just loved it because you'd go anywhere, and there'd be a little dog in the corner sitting on a
Oh,
chair and a
yeah.
beautiful Parisian, elegant person, having their morning coffee or a little croissant, and the dog would just be watching the world go by and having an absolutely great time, and nobody minded. And
No, no.
yeah, so we've been slow, I think, to cotton on to this.
Yes, but haven't you noticed as well as hotels, restaurants becoming more dog friendly? I mean, there are even restaurants in London where you can go, smart restaurants at night with your dog, and which is, I think it's great. I mean, pubs obviously always you've always been able to, but I love this idea that you could take your dog to somewhere a little bit more fancy as well.
Oh no, definitely. And again, they do pick up on the energy. There's no question about it. And even a naughty pooch, goes into somewhere elegant, and they do behave.
Yes,
There's a lot to be said to confidence in your dog,
yeah,
because they will rise to it, and they won't let you down. Denise, I'm loving this idea on this service station thing actually, because
yeah,
I say, well, actually, I'm sure I can mention this. I did a Jeremy Vine airing actually a couple of years ago now, and I was on with this lovely lady, and who was actually saying that dogs are better provided for at service stations than the babies, you see. But you see, never having had a baby, I couldn't really comment on the changing rooms and everything for babies because I'd obviously never used them. But I did challenge her in saying, well, as far as I'm aware, I've never been to a service station that even has a dog friendly area where that's dedicated for you to walk your dog, let alone anything else. So I
Oh,
would
I did.
argue
I
that,
did recently on the M4. I went with
ah,
my daughter. We were going to visit a hotel, and it was dog friendly. I mean, we couldn't believe it. We were quite shocked that you could actually go in with the dogs. So we took both dogs in, and it was lovely. It just made it much more pleasant. I wish I could remember the name of the. I
yeah, no, it would
but
be good to, because
yeah,
they could be the case study for our campaign. Because I
yeah.
think, well, certainly the motor services would, keep dog owners in there for a lot longer
And I guess
if
they'd
they
spend more money, wouldn't they?
exactly, of course they would. Absolutely. So I think they're missing a trick, really, and all sorts of things could be offered, like maybe poo bags, more poo bins. It could just become a bit more inclusive, because
Oh,
some of them, you have to pick the service stations. Even now, I always had, so I used to go up to Shropshire a lot to see my mum, and I'd know my service stations that were the ones to stop at, that had some green space, because some of them are very concrete. So you had to be quite choosy, but none of them would let dogs in. So I think that could be an interesting conversation to have.
definitely. And as you say, they do seem to have more water stations outside, more spaces that they can go to. But I know Kiki always sort of desperately trying to get in. Sort of, oh, please, can I get? Why am I left out?
Well, yeah, and as I say, in extreme weather conditions, you might need to take your dog in with you, either if it's
Yes,
too
the
hot.
wind howling, and the
Yeah,
rain. Yes,
that's
yeah.
it. No, absolutely. Well, I think that's something for 2025, Denise, to look forward to
Definitely.
doing. I think so.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you for joining us today. Now, just before you go, though, what packages have you got on offer, maybe to tempt any listeners who might be thinking of a long weekend in January and February, or a Valentine's break maybe in February, just a getaway to kind of get the new year off to a buoyant start?
Well, we've still got, I mean, whilst obviously Christmas is quite booked up, there's still some sort of some availability in that Twixmas period between Christmas and New Year. And we still have, and we have some, still some New Year offers. We've got the Close Hotel in Tetbury, Fowey Hotel in Cornwall, the Mallory Court, which is in Warwickshire. So those are a few, and the offers that we do have, as I said, they have lots of added extras for humans and dogs. So you can get a glass of champagne. The dogs would get treats, and there might be a spa treatment for you, and a grooming treatment for the dogs. There are a lot of very inventive things on offer.
Great. No, well, that's interesting to check out for sure. Oh, yeah, I'm loving all of this. I think holidaying with your dog is simply almost
That's the
morally
best.
mandatory. It's morally mandatory for you and your dog. Otherwise, they're not having as much fun as you, and that's not right. They should have the equal amount of fun.
No, no, it's nice to know what they're doing and include them, definitely.
Yes, 100%. Oh, well, thank you, Denise. And I hope you'll come back and maybe
Oh,
we can
thank
update people on this motorway services campaign.
Definitely. I know it's been so much fun to talk to you. Thank you.
That's our show, Mr. Binks. What did you think? Yes, I know you love going to Norfolk. Norfolk is a very dog-friendly county. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts? Thanks again, of course, to Denise Elphick for joining us today, and all of the links to Pets Pyjamas with their great range of holiday stays for every single budget and every single taste is in the show notes. Thanks, of course, to Mike Hanson, my producer, for all the music and production as ever. Find out more about him at Pod People UK. And if you want to find out a bit more about me, check out my website, check out my Instagram at AnnaWebDogs. What's that, Mr. Binks? Yes, we will be back in your feed next Sunday, so why don't you subscribe? And that way, you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.